So at the same time as we have a record 2 million Canadians currently using food banks, GDP per capita was 50th out of 50 countries measured. Our healthcare system is in absolute shambles. 1.3 immigrants being allowed in the country in a year. Unprecedented levels that are going to be an unmitigated disaster for Canada. And Mark Carney is in the Ukraine handing over another 2 billion taxpayer dollars to Vladimir Zelensky. This is after already handing over $20 billion. He did not even get invited to the summit regarding Ukraine after handing over 22 billion Canadian taxpayer dollars. I just have to ask, why the hell can this money not be spent in Canada? Canada, in the past decade, since Justin Trudeau took over as Prime Minister, has gotten worse and worse every single year. You can't tell if you're in India, if you're in the Middle East. Canadian values down the absolute shitter. Parades with naked men walking around all the time. This woke nonsense. You can't apply for a job without being asked, are you a transgender? Are you an indigenous? All this woke garbage that has absolutely nothing to do with meritocracy. It should just be the best applicant gets the gig. But they're intentionally attempting to divide us. That's the entire goal of this. The entire goal of this nonsense is to have us at each other's throats, so we don't notice that Mark Carney is governing this country on behalf of Brookfield Asset Management rather than the Canadian people. You look at decision after decision after decision. We just allowed in a record 800,000 immigrants in Q1 2025, exceeding Trudeau's rates of immigration. This despite the fact that 75% of Canadians say enough is enough, we cannot withstand it anymore. And this is due to the fact that Brookfield Asset Management owns $37 billion worth of real estate in Canada. I kid you not, it's more than doubled since 2015, and they need to continue to pump those numbers up. What's the easiest way to pump those numbers? It's quite straightforward. Continue to flood the zone with immigration, basic supply and demand. Continue to flood the zone, allow people into the country. Those prices are going to go up. Carney announces a $25 billion deal to build more prefab housing in the country. Guess what? Brookfield Asset Management just bought a company called Modular that does prefab housing. I kid you not. He is governing this country on behalf of Brookfield Asset Management. Old Cloward Piven strategy. Divide the country among all these different groups. Rather than saying we're Canadians, they push all this multiculturalism BS that it's just common sense. It's going to have people disagreeing with one another. Rather than saying we are one country, one cohesive unit, Canadian values under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of movement. No, what our government says is we're going to divide you up among all these lines so you don't notice while we rob you blind. I don't blame the immigrants for coming to this country. I blame our goddamn government for knowing that the policy is going to absolutely crush Canada's middle and lower class, yet they continue to do it because they do not give one goddamn. It's a compliment that they want to come here. It's our government that is betraying us. Mark Carney, you can just tell when he interacts with everyday Canadians, he could give absolutely two damns about the common folk. He spent his entire career in service of global elite businesses. His entire career is the WF, Davos, Brookfield Asset Management. This guy looks down his nose at everyday Canadians, and you can tell by his press schedule. He barely speaks to the press. He hasn't even set up an office yet. And now he's spending all of his time overseas, not even in Canada. I live in Ottawa, 2 blocks away from the Parliament building, where there's open crack smoking absolutely everywhere. But does Mark Carney see that? I can guarantee you he doesn't. I've seen his motorcade come out. This guy does not walk among the common folks. This guy has no idea what a disaster his immigration policies have been for the Canadian people. Nor does he give half of a damn. It's pathetic. Canadian citizens need to stand up and say enough is enough. I'm hosting a rally Saturday, September 13th, Parliament Hill at noon. If you're interested in attending, send me a message. Canadian patriots need to hit the streets because I'm sick of seeing so many goddamn foreign flags in our streets every day. We need Canadian patriots out in the streets. If you're interested in attending, like I said, reach out to me. I'm at 10K subs on TikTok. The Canadian government really is not a big fan of dissidents. So if you're not, make sure you're following me on YouTube, youtube.com/@FightForCanada2025. Please like, subscribe, share. Canadian patriots need to continue to get the message out. We will not sit down as our country is overrun by a corrupt group of global elitists.